Hello students, I have made this presentation for your midterm preparation. So very rapidly we will be discussing on the unit 1 and unit 2 topics. So the first one is the definition for soil. So this you all can study from the study material that I had given in the class. Next is the various views or approaches for soil study. So there are two views, pedological views and edaphology. Pedological views are actually focusing on construction of roads and buildings. So there the consideration is on the soil morphology and soil classification. Edaphological studies are actually focusing on agricultural requirements. For example, the relationship between plants, plant growth, soil animals, microbes, and the soil. So those things are considered. Next is the composition of soil. So soil is composed of air, water, minerals and organic matters. By percentage, air constitutes 25%, water 25%, mineral 40% and organic matter 10%. So this is actually the general composition, but with different ecosystems, for example, in desert or in forest ecosystem, these constituents will be different. For example, in desert soil, the air percentage would be more, the water will be less, and similarly, but in case of forest, the water will be more than that of desert, and soil air will be less. Next is residual soil and transported soil. So residual soil is the soil which is remaining in its original place and that is made by weathering process. Again, transported soil is the one which is carried from one place to another, for example by rivers or glaciers. Next topic is soil profile and soil horizon. So soil profile consists of these various soil horizons. So what do we mean by soil horizon? Horizons are actually horizontal layers of soil which may consist of various color. It could have different texture. The thickness of the soil could be different. Now these horizons are divided into four. The topmost layer or the topmost horizon is the O horizon, which is followed by A horizon, B horizon and C horizon. The top two layers, that is O horizon and A, constitutes the topsoil, and B and C horizon constitutes the subsoil. Now we find that the organic matter content or the soil texture is different. For example, we find that in the uppermost layer, that is the O horizon, a lot of organic matter is found, whereas it decreases down the layers. Again, the A horizon consists of a lot of organic matter more than that of the C and B, but we find that leaching of iron, clay, salts, these take place in the A horizon, and those leached out minerals are found in the B horizon. Then again we find that soil water and soil air is also found more in the uppermost layers and it decreases down the layers. The B horizon could be as deep as 1 meter in depth. And again, the C horizon consists of calcium carbonate, calcium sulfate. We find that the plant roots are also found up till the B horizon and it does not reach the C horizon. And below the C horizon, actually the bedrock lies. Next, we come to the topic of weathering and soil formation. We find that for the process of soil formation, all the three types of weathering has to take place: physical, chemical, and biological. Physical weathering takes place by air and water. Chemical weathering takes place by breaking down by chemical agents. For example, if it is water, then it is known as hydration. Carbon dioxide, then it is carbonation. If it is oxidation, then addition of oxygen takes place, and reduction where removal of oxygen takes place. Biological weathering means the living organisms, uh, for example, the plant roots or burrowing animals, for example, the earthworms, lichens, microbes, they also help in the process of soil formation. Next, Let us see some of the factors that influence the process of soil formation. So we find that soil formation is affected by the parent rock material, that is the minerals. It is also affected by climate, for example, high rainfall or less rainfall, temperature. Then organisms, like we have seen that it helps in biological weathering. So organisms also affect soil formation process. Topography or slope of the gradient also affects soil formation, and last is a time factor. Now time factor, it affects like if more of time has elapsed, then more of organic matter will be decomposed, and those organic matter actually forms layers and layers, horizons of soil. Next, let us see some of the physical properties of soil. So first one is soil texture. Soil texture means the touch or feel of the soil. So it is divided into sand, silt and clay. Sand is greater than 2 millimeter, silt from 0.002 millimeter to 0.05. Clay is smaller than 0.002 millimeter. Now we can divide textural classes into with this textural triangle, soil textural triangle, and that is based upon soil, sand, silt, and clay percentage, like we have already done in the class. Next property is the soil structure and morphology. So morphology means how does the soil look like. So it could be blocky, it could be platy, and it could be prismatic. Blocky means all the three dimensions, that is height, length, and breadth, are equal in size. In case of platy, we find that length and breadth are similar, but height is very less. In case of prismatic, we find that the height is quite larger as compared to length and breadth. Next comes soil porosity. So soil pores consist of air, soil air, and soil water. It could be divided into interstitial pores, tubular pores, and vesicular pores. And based upon size, soil pores could be differentiated into soil macropores and micropores. And I have given the diameter of those soil pores. So next comes the soil water and soil air. So soil water could be of three types: capillary water, hygroscopic water, and gravitational water. And soil air consists of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. Here I have given the definition for capillary water, hygroscopic, gravitational, and again water holding capacity and field capacity. Next is the bulk density and particle density. Particle density means the true density of the solid soil, which excludes the pore space, while bulk density constitutes both the pore space and the solid density. Next topic is soil temperature. It is measured in degrees Celsius, and soil temperature is measured at a depth of 50 centimeter. And soil temperature actually affects microbial processes, land treatment by organic matter, etc. So here we study the mean annual temperature, which is measured from the average, maximum, and minimum temperature of the whole year. And based on that, there are certain zones: frigid, mesic, thermic, and hyperthermic. So here the mean annual temperature is also given. So the last topic is soil color, which we measure by Munchel soil color chart. Now this could be because of like yellow and red color could be because of iron oxide. Manganese oxide causes black color. Calcite make arid soil white in color. Organic matter cause dark and brown black color. Glauconite make the soil green in color. So this is the Munchel soil color chart. This is one of the page, and here we can actually take some soil on a transparent polythene pack, and we can like see the color on this page. Match the color with various pages of the Munchel soil color chart. Then there's a relationship between soil color and temperature. Darker the color of the soil and more heat it absorbs. This is because like we have seen this VIBGYOR, and more of like heat is absorbed in the red zone. So we find that darker color absorbs more of heat from the sunlight. Okay, so that much for today. Study well and good luck for your examination.